This is Sally Cohn for the Women's Media Center. I'm here with Teresa Vilmain, a legendary political consultant and strategist. Thanks for being with me.
Well, it's great to be here. It's so great to be at this conference.
So you have been in Wisconsin, which is really the epicenter of all that's happening on the ground politically in this country. What's excited you most over the last year? And there's been so much exciting happening.
Well, the biggest, I think, aha moment, and for those of us, I'm in my 50s, so you're never too old to learn, is the amount of energy and pure organizing that happened organically. And I think around the country, people thought a lot of this was done by serious leaders within one organized party or within one labor movement or with one section of the state. And this was a true grassroots movement that took a life of its own, starting with a few students moving to an amazing universe of people, and it hasn't stopped. I mean, on any hour of any given day, you can go in Madison, there's still people protesting at the Capitol.
Now, as someone who's worked her career trying to get these kinds of things started and worked for, not necessarily you've been one, but has worked for institutions that have sort of tried to lead these things in a top-down way, how do you see us making that pivot to instead be followers of organic energy?
Well, it was one of the other learning pieces of business for those of us who organize for a living. And part of that is we have to learn how to be flexible and not to be in such a control state of mind, and that good things can come from literally a small organization having some great ideas. And what really happened around what we would call the revolution in Wisconsin is how we were making leaders and they were making leaders of themselves organically. And equally important, there was less than 9 arrests in 100 days of organized rallies. And that says a lot about let's organize, but let's organize in an effective way that's also peaceful.
Yeah. Now, although I'm often a fan of being arrested, but that's a side note. I mentioned you're a veteran political consultant and organizer. These are not worlds that are known for having strong female leadership. What's your advice to the next generation of young women coming up in politics and how to find their voice and their role in this world?
Well, I think one of the key pieces of information and advice that I can give is that you can't be what you can't see. So it was really important for these rallies, for those of us who volunteered for these rallies, was to make sure that every platform where there was more than 2 people watching, that there were women on that platform. So whether they were the marshals with the yellow jackets, whether they were leading the line for the firefighters who came through with their music every day, or whether they were actual women and men on the podium, really helpful that any time we were trying to organize in front of the Ed Schultz show with people in the background, that we always asked women. And it was not a hard piece of business to do, because I was amazed by how many women came to the Capitol and stayed at the Capitol and stayed inside the Capitol. Lots of leaders were women, and I think if you do a little bit of the research on who was on the program, we tried as much as possible to have women. Now, by the mere fact that there's a lot of labor involved, there's not necessarily as many labor leaders, but that's, in the process of changing. There are a lot of very progressive men that understood that we should have real people's stories and not just elected labor leadership. So we had many opportunities to have a lot of women who were going to be affected by these bad laws and made sure that those stories were up at those microphones. That was my goal.
That's really powerful.
In front of microphones.
And it showed. All right. It's time for your mystery question. Come on.
Mystery question?
Yeah, pick one out of the...
I just can't wait.
Right, so read it and answer it.
Do conservatives hate women? Only in their dreams. No, I don't believe that they really, truly hate women.
Why do they seem often so anti-women then? What's your explanation for that?
I truly believe that part of it is that they don't have really good women in their life and that they choose not to be open about that and that they are misguided. And I hope that they figure that out sooner rather than later, because I don't think it's going to serve them well.
Teresa Vilmain, thank you so much for talking with me. Thanks for all the work you did.
Great to be here.